So think about a fight. There's 12 fights on the card. That means there's 24 people about to do this. So every night, out of those 23 people, 3 or 4 people get a $50,000 extra bonus. My first fight, I got 2 bonuses. And in my first 7 fights, I got 9 bonuses. And I have 12 fights now. I have 12 bonuses total. I didn't bonus in 2 fights, but I double bonused in 2 fights to make up for those. I'm 12 for 12. So those 2 records, I think, in the history of this sport will never
be touched.
Not even close. 9 out of 7 is crazy.
You're listening to The Hot Wash by Born Primitive Tactical. I'm Bruno Fallon. I've spent my 4-decade career in some of the most elite units in the United States Special Operations community, where I learned that elite operators aren't made overnight. They're forged through hardship, discipline, and relentless drive. In each episode, I sit down with the most accomplished and innovative leaders in special operations, industry, coaching, and athletes of all disciplines. Let's jump right in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hot Wash by Born Primitive Tactical. Got some amazing guests here today. We've been working for about 3 months on trying to get these guys locked down and get them here in one place. We got Luke Caudillo, Gladiators Unleashed, who is also one of our Born Primitive outdoor ambassadors, but also rocks the tactical side. Welcome, brother.
Yes, I do.
And then we got Justin Gaethje, who, if you don't know that name, you probably don't follow MMA, professional fighting in the UFC. Welcome, brother.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
Great to have you. Great to have you guys both. We were having some good pre-talk before you guys got on here, and we really got into some interesting stuff. But one of the things I really want to start right out with is you guys talking, letting everybody know about this new gym you guys are building. It sounds amazing with what you got going on.
I mean, it's Onyx Sports. I mean, it's pretty much the ultimate gym at high elevation. Onyx Sports is, I mean, Justin's been training out of there for a while now.
Yeah, we've had it's our equipment company. We make boxing gloves, MMA equipment. We got maybe like 5 or 6 different products coming out.
Yep.
Really soon. Shin guards are going to be the best. But I've been training at, we have a gym in there as well. Trevor does I do all my private training there with Trevor. I bring all my grappling partners there. We do wrestling on Thursday. My grappling coach comes in and we do private workouts there. And then I go spar at the high altitude martial arts with the elevation fight team, or I'm not sure what the name of the fight team is now, but with those guys, those are the bodies that I go get on Tuesday and Friday, beat some people up, get beat up. And then, but yeah, everything we run out of Onyx, and we're turning it into like a destination training facility. It's right there on the foothills of the Rockies on Highway 93 between Golden and Boulder, Colorado. Beautiful place. We got a kitchen with a chef. We got the girl that does all my body work. I like to use needles and acupuncture. So she does all that for me. She's in-house. And then Trevor, is the best coach in the world. But yeah, the facility is world-class. He built a cage in there, and he put 1,000 springs underneath it to replicate the bounciness of the cage that we fight in.
That is
and
incredible.
So it's the whole thing is built to get ready for a high level.
Get ready for a high level.
I mean, we have it all. We have a sauna.
Sauna with
so
cold tub.
The video I saw, you have a cold tub in the sauna.
Yep.
I've never seen that.
So Trevor, my coach Trevor, Trevor's been making the equipment that I spar with by hand with his sewing machine for the last 10 years. And maybe 5 or 6, 7 years ago, I was like, yo, we need to give this to everybody. This is the best training. When I would go somewhere and not have that stuff, I would have to wear other stuff and I would just feel naked, not protected. So we need to make this for the world. And so we started that. Yeah. And, but now we're turning into, like I said, a destination training facility with everything that you would need. But he built the whole thing by hand. He built, he painted all the walls. He just put up a wall to separate the podcast studio from the production area, from the gym. He built the sauna with the cold tub in the ground,
which is insane
by hand.
It's gorgeous.
Piece by piece, he just has a pile of wood.
And all about transitions in and out, right? Yeah. You're right there. So
yeah, a piece of a pile of wood in the ground. Then we have a sauna. So this man can make anything, and yeah, it's cool. It's gonna be awesome.
That is awesome. So you guys mentioned this podcast studio in there too. So you're getting a new pod going, or how's that going?
So the idea is, we get a lot of these guys come out and train. We get a lot of high level guys, and what better way to advertise, right, than get some of these guys in the gear that Trevor makes, put them on the pod, talk about the facility, But honestly, it's just the podcast is it's MMA based, but we're looking to have fun on there. Just
Trevor and Luke
everything.
are going to be the main hosts.
Yep.
Trevor Whitman, I'm my coach. So he's going to talk a lot about fighting, a lot of technique.
We'll have
when will
move
that
of the
pod
week.
launch?
He's very.
When will that pod launch?
We'll probably we're starting to build out the studio.
He built the studio.
We're building a whole soundproof studio inside it. We're taking a little piece of from Gladiators. The back part's going to be a whole lounge, like have a bar, arcade games, pool table, a place to hang out, right?
I love it.
And we say we're going to do work hard in the gym, come and play in here, So, we're looking to launch probably mid-September, I'm thinking.
That's awesome. Do you have, I know you not long of just coming off your last one. I mean, are you taking a break for a while, or do you have another fight on the calendar, or how you looking?
Yeah, I mean, so I definitely, the way it works for me, it's crazy. So I fight once or twice a year. It's really dependent on, the timing of everybody else that I'm trying to fight. Being ranked number 3, number 4, whatever I am, you're always trying to get people ahead of you. Obviously it's a lot of politics going on. My manager's doing most of that work. But in between, so after a fight, I'll take 20 to 30 days, depending on injuries. Bone bruises last 5-6 weeks.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you were just showing us the pictures of your toes.
My toes, yeah. That's from a fight.
Shit.
That gremlins.
The gremlins from staying in contact on the canvas while you're striking and everything. That is pretty bizarre shit,
bad.
man.
Yeah, we fight on canvas, and when you drag your feet, it's crazy. Anytime your skin touches the canvas, it just rips it off. And that shit hurts. It hurts the most.
Mangled. They look like mangled toes, right?
Yeah. It definitely looked like a car accident.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be on Feet Finder.
So anyhow, I'm sorry, you're talking about next fight.
Yeah, so I just try to, after a fight, I take, 20, 30 days of, and really ultimately, even if the fight goes perfect, it's all the training that got you there. You're taking shots, you're sparring twice a week. And so ultimately you just got to rest your body and rest your mind. The body is resilient, but you got to give it time. So I usually take 20, 30 days. I try to stay, eating clean. I have a chef now. And that was one thing I used to do that was detrimental to my training. I would go 30 days and just be like, I'm going to eat whatever I want, all the sugar, and enjoy myself. But then I would be so far out of shape and gain so much weight that it'd take me so long to come back. So now I just try to maintain, with age, it gets harder to get back, to blow up like Patty and come back down. I used to love that part of the sport, but now I can't do it. So I just try to maintain, in between, and then 12 weeks from the date that they give me, I, do 6 days a week, 3 hours a day, 2 to 3 hours a day. In between, everything is, to get ready for the next workout or for the next day, and no traveling. After fights, I travel a lot. I traveled like 2 out of 2 months pretty much straight after this last fight. Just went and did all kinds of cool shit. Won a Ferrari, won a golf tournament. So yeah, 3 months before, I don't leave my house. I, get very locked in, and just what is it? Like I can't be there for nobody. For 3 months, my family knows to kind of, not ask me rhetorical questions. My patience gets very thin, and then after the fight, I get to be myself. So I mean, it's different. It's different mindsets.
Totally get it. I had Derek Wolf on here, and the question I asked him was when he was with the Broncos and they were going on the Super Bowl run. When he was describing from the playoffs to winning the Super Bowl, I looked at him. I said, "You just described my mentality on a combat deployment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing fucking matters except for the target and the boys."
Yeah.
It sounds to me like when you just get locked on, it's like now you got to have a group around you that's supportive, that understands that, and just let you do your thing, right?
I have a whole team, and every one of them serve a different purpose. And yeah, it's definitely needed. Ultimately, you have to go. That at the end of the day, you have to walk in there alone. Nobody can help you. Nobody can save you. And you're gonna, your soul's gonna be on display for the world in front of everybody, and you can't rely on nobody to help you. You have to, believe in yourself. But ultimately, the preparation is what allows me to go there and not be terrified. But yeah, having a team around me, my coach, Luke's there for me because Luke was with me in the very beginning. Luke knows me almost as good as any of my other coaches. And he's there. He's done it before. I know that he's experienced what I'm doing before. And so his purpose is to keep me from being too locked in on any one thing, because ultimately, you know, when you go to these special places, you can get kind of laser focus on maybe the wrong thing. And so his job is to, like, be aware of where my mental space is, and really to keep things light. He's always making, keeping it light, because ultimately what we're doing is serious, but your emotions are never going to help you. Being mad, being angry, wanting to win, those are just going to hurt you from being the best athlete that night. And so he does a good job at keeping me, in the right mind space. Trevor also is, he in a different mind space wise, keeping me from being too loose. He keeps me loose. Trevor keeps me from being too loose. Although they serve those two different purposes. And then Ben Charrington, who's my wrestling coach, who was with me since 2007, I met him. So he's known me the longest out of all my coaches. And he knows who I am and what I am, and the kind of competitor that I am, and when I compete the best. So he controls my warm-up. He makes sure I'm not spending too much energy or not taking it too light or too serious. He knows me the best. So they all together, do a really good job at it, because ultimately it's all mental, and I need to be in the right mental space. And that's where we need help. And that's where all of us need help. We get too emotional. Emotions are what life is, and what makes us, feel good, feel bad. But in those times, like, emotions will kill you every single time. So
you got to put it to the side.
I'm so unemotional. Like, people are like, "Are you afraid?" Like, no, I'm not afraid. Like, I feel nothing. And I think with time, that came with time, and it's also translated into all other parts of life. Like, when I get behind a gun to make a shot, my heart doesn't beat. I don't feel a thing. When I'm in front of a shit ton of people on a golf course, for my first time, I feel nothing. And so I think that my sport has done that for me, which is kind of like, it's ruined parts of life for me, but it's also made me a more stable person in general, because I know that the higher I go, the lower that I'm gonna have to go to get back to where I want to be, which is, always right here in the middle. And so that's what my sport is. It's what it's taught me, is that emotions will kill you, and
so we
trust your instincts.
Pretty much every time we talk about human performance, we always talk about mindset, and you just nailed it. I mean,
it's everything.
You just defined it. Like, mindset is the difference between champions and wannabes. It's the difference between people being successful operators and washing out. It's a champion fighter.
Yeah.
Mindset, right? I mean, because when it comes down to it, you can only train so hard. And yeah, you can have that moment where the guy obviously seizes the day, but the mindset, right?
Yeah, no, for me, I mean, that is everything. I mean, I think that's why I've been so successful. I'm very athletic, all the way around. But I was never the best wrestler, and I didn't think I would be the best fighter. I started this because, like, this looks like a lot of fun, and I want to do this because it looks so much fun. And it was fun. And first time I did it, knocked the guy out in 26 seconds. Almost, if it was a street fight, I would have killed him. And that's why I've never been in a street fight, because I'm like, I don't want to hurt somebody ever. And then I was like, I'm hooked. I love this. I want to do it for the rest of my life.
So what were you doing before you started fighting? Where were you at?
I was in college wrestling. And I told my coaches, they brought some UFC fighters in, and I took him down. George St. Pierre took him down when I was probably 18, and he was a champion at the time. And I was like, and I was a huge fan of the sport. We'd go to Buffalo Wild Wings. We'd sit there for 6-8 hours, spend $12 and watch fights, the entire card. Since 2002, my dad showed it to me in 1993. I remember seeing it. Royce Gracie. I remember seeing that as a child, and I was like, "This is awesome." And then 2002, Forrest Griffin, Stephen Bonner, Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah,
pops off. I'm probably in 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade, and just absolutely wrestling. Fell in love with it, and I was like, Matt Hughes, Chuck Liddell, Anderson Silva, Wanderlei Silva. I mean, Rampage Jackson. I just remember such vivid memories of these guys. Me going to watch these guys compete.
Absolutely.
Edson Barboza. When I was in college, I remember playing in a poker tournament with my buddies in college. Edson Barboza was fighting. was like, I'm going to fight that guy. And I'd already had probably 5 or 6 amateur fights. I fight every summer in between seasons. I was like, I'm going to fight that guy. And everyone's like, yeah, fucking right. And then I fought him and knocked him out. And so it was just been a crazy ride. I never thought I would be where I'm at today. Like, there's no way. That was a huge lesson for me whenever those coaches brought George St. Pierre, Donald Cerrone, Cub Swanson into my gym, because I realized that they were normal people. I realized that they probably shit themselves. Like, they are emotional. And now the more people I meet and the more I understand that no one's special. No one's Superman. Like, everyone's so fucking human. And, all the biggest baseball players, the biggest basketball, the biggest actors, even more so actors, like, they're so fucking normal. But athletes, like, I don't know, it's just crazy. I could talk forever.
So correct me here, but don't you have like the most fights in the UFC, or you're close to it?
No. So I have the records I have that I'm most proud of. So every time that there's a fight, there's probably, and so let's go back to mindset before we get to that. I think I was gonna get to, like, I use a lot of so think about a fight. There's 12 fights on the card. That means there's 24 people about to do this. And so if I am scared and I'm like, what the fuck am I? There's 23 other people about to do this tonight, right now. And if I'm scared, it's because I didn't, prepare myself. But ultimately, I'm okay with losing, okay with winning. But as long as I make everybody proud, then that's my mindset. That's why I'm not scared, because as long I know my family's gonna be proud, I know I'm gonna give max effort, because I'm I love to compete. So that's why it's so easy for me. But what were we saying?
The bonuses
Oh yeah, I had 9 bonuses. So every night, out of those 23 people, 3 or 4 people get a $50,000 extra bonus, 2 performance of the nights, and 1 fight of the night. So in the fight of the night, both guys get the bonus. My first fight, I got 2 bonuses. And in my first 7 fights, I got 9 bonuses.
Yeah.
And then I have 12 fights now. I have 12 bonuses total. I didn't bonus in 2 fights, but I double bonused in 2 fights to make up for those.
Nice.
I'm 12 for 12.
That's pretty stellar.
No. So those 2 records, I think, in the history of this sport will never be touched.
That's awesome.
Not even close.
That's awesome.
9 out of 7 is crazy. How I did that, I have no fucking clue. Because so the crazy thing is, I came in, I was main event my first fight. The higher on the card, the more likely you are to get a bonus, because recency bias, and that's just human nature.
Right.
That's, they remember the last fight. And so the higher towards the end of the night that you are, the more chances you're going to get that favoritism when it comes to recency bias. I've been at the top of the card every time. So that's maybe a small factor, but my fights, I'm the most exciting, most consistent guy that's ever fought. I watched since 1993. No one's been as consistent as me ever in the sport.
But Bruno, let me tell you something about this guy. He came in from another organization, World Series of Fighting, being the champion there. To come into the UFC organization and to fight the top,
I seen a graphic
top guy
today from 2017. I was ranked number 5. And every other guy on the list is not there right now. And I'm the only one that's still there. So it's been I've been fighting. I've fought top 5 11 out of 12 times.
That's right.
One time I fought number 7. And he was on like a 10-fight winning streak at the time.
The level that he's fought at since he's been there,
it's impressive.
It's crazy.
I follow it. It's impressive.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
I'll even go back further. I remember watching Royce and Ken Shamrock fight.
Yep.
I mean,
same.
And I'll tell you what, when Ken Shamrock walked in there, everybody's like, this is over. And it was over. It was over for Ken. But he's absolutely an exciting, like, this is like, I'm not missing this one on the card.
The evolution of this sport since then is insane.
It is.
And it's going to continue to grow, like, so fast, because these kids are now training in all of these martial arts. We thought we're like, let's see which martial art is the best. So I came with my martial art. You came with your martial art. You came with yours. But now they're training all of them.
Yeah, they are.
And I think that's why the Sambo Russian, Muslims are so dominant. For one, Muslims live very if they do it right, they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't do anything. They're living very, very, very
That's all they do.
clean lives, and that's all they do is train. And not only, and I wrestled since I was 4, but I never saw a submission until I was 20. And they're doing like sambo, which is, an aggressive style of grappling with submissions. And I think that's a huge part why they came in and were so effective. Same reason why, we saw Royce Gracie be so effective, because nobody knew what the fuck was going on. Same with Ronda Rousey. There's always these, and then people figure it out because the evolution of the sport. And so I think it's just crazy what these athletes are becoming and what these kids are going to become.
No, you're right. It went from I'm a good fighter and a discipline, and I'll learn some of the other disciplines, to now everything.
You cannot be lacking anywhere.
Yeah.
At the highest level. These guys are like, it's crazy.
I mean, it used to be the wrestlers had the upper hand, take them down, ground and pound. And
every martial art got their day.
Right.
And now it's not one martial art. You're going to have to be good. You have to be very athletic, very, it's all about judging timing. Like, it's so fast. What's happening is less than seconds, less than inches, and your ability to get from point A to point B without hesitation is what separates elite athletes.
Well, you said the same thing that Royce said a few weeks ago on this podcast, is endurance is the base, and how important endurance is. And if you think about it, if you look at just describing your 12-week train up and getting that endurance locked in the way it is there to be able to survive a full.
That's the only thing that allows me to walk to the cage without being terrified, because there's nothing more scary than being tired and having that guy try to fuck you up in front of 20,000 people. There's millions watching on TV, and you put yourself in this position. You can't blame nobody. And so once that happens, you're like, I can never let that happen again. And that will happen to every single one of us. Yeah, luckily it happened to me in my 5th amateur fight. The day before, they changed my opponent from a guy that was like 2-4 to a college wrestler that was like 5-0, and I was 5-0. And I was being, a kid, not training. I came out of wrestling, like, I'm in shape. I'm going to fuck this kid up. He's lost 4 times. And then I fought a kid that was 5-0, and he pushed me to my limits, dropped me. And luckily I took him down, and beat him. And I was like, oh, I can never put myself in that position.
Never
again.
Get caught.
And I did it again.
Right.
I did it again. I got tired again when I shouldn't have. And luckily, do a uppercut from hell and hit him with it. And he went down. And it was over, and I was like, thank you, God. And I was done. I had nothing left. And it was like the 2nd round. And I was like, I'm so fucked. So fucked. And so those learning lessons are what, again, when you get to this position, I've never been there in a UFC fight where I'm like, I should have worked harder, to be more prepared for this moment. Like, now I'm all the way in. It has to be, or else it would be, if I took shortcuts in practice, I can't imagine how scary it would be to make that walk.
Right.
And I know that's why most of them are scared when they're scared, because you had control of things that you did not fucking
discipline.
You didn't make the right choices, and you're fucking in this position. You can't get out of it. You can bitch out right now, but that's the last thing you're going to do.
So Luke, I got a question.
Yeah.
In his 12-week train up, is he the same all the way through, or do you see a period where week 6 to 8 or something, does he ever get from when he goes in, he's locked in and he's the same guy all the way through, or is there like a transitional period?
Oh, there's definitely a transition period. And you'll notice, like, early in the camp, me and him will play around a lot, warm up. And, we do these videos and we have fun, and I talk a lot of shit to him and I get him going. But, like, tapering closer to the fight, you'll see me just shut the fuck up. I come in there and because he's locked in, he's tuned. And I was just going to say this, like, yeah, his transition, like, yeah, there's a time and place of us always joking around and playing it, but I know it's go time. We, especially in the locker room, like right before we make the walk, like, this is something he says, dude. And it fucking, as a fighter, it never really hit me. Like, when you're fighting, you're like, oh man, I'm ready to do this. Because you prepared yourself. You trained this whole time. Couldn't wait to do it. But as a coach, and now, Trevor does such a great job structuring the camp, and he does it. And you see him do it, there's in a day that I miss, during camp. And so you're there and you're invested with him. Like you see him do all this training. And then he says, today's a good day to die, right? Like it hits different because,
right. No, I got you.
you know, he put all his trust into us by making him work out, telling him how many rounds he's doing. And, you know, that is something that I didn't really take lightly because after his first few fights that were just fucking brawls and like, oh my God, dude, who is this guy that
He was with me early.
Yeah, I've been there since
2011.
like I've been there from the start, you know, and to see him, you know, become the superstar that he is now is nuts. And the reason they call him the highlight reel is because every time he goes out there, he puts the highlight on. And, you know, to be quite honest, every time he goes out to fight now, I puke before we
Since
go.
2015.
It's been a minute.
Really?
Second Palomino fight every single time.
I don't know what it is. Then every time
He'll be
they're
like, well, look at him. Like, you good? You're like, I'm good. I'm like, oh, okay. And then like, he'll run.
one time it hit me so bad.
We were in Abu Dhabi in the bubble. We couldn't, it was the only time we've ever been in like a locker room warming up where we didn't have access to a bathroom right there. So you had to like call them and be
this
like,
was
hey.
during COVID, right?
Oh shit.
Fight Island.
Yeah, to
right?
call him that hey, he has to go to the bathroom. And so he's puking in the
trash can.
Trash can, and they're like, this guy has to get out of the bubble because he's sick.
He's got
he
COVID.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's normal. That one was funny.
That could have been bad, but like it's just something that hits me because you know he's like my little brother. Honestly, like I know we're friends.
You're invested.
Yeah, man. This is my dog.
When I watch my friends fight, it's 10 times worse.
And that's it. That's what it is.
And it is
like being a fighter. Like even practice sparring, I don't get like this. Like I'm like, if he comes into practice out of shape, he's getting jacked up. Okay, come for week 4, watch me because I know it's gonna come back and he's gonna beat the shit out of other guys. But like that never bothers me. It's always the night of the fight. It just hits me different because there's a lot of writing on it. You know,
right. Yeah, we put a lot of work. There's a lot of pressure. That's the biggest part that breaks most athletes. There's a lot of pressure. You want to do good for them. You know, you want to be successful, but you ultimately have a lot of people that put a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of resources into getting you here. And so you want to win.
like your team, right?
Well, ultimately, you can't control it. So that's the conundrum. That's what breaks people.
And that's good leadership. I mean, to me personally, you know, in my entire career, your people around you, your team, of course, the mission is the priority, but coming back with every one of your people, taking care of them, mentoring them.
Yeah.
You know, now that I'm in, private industry, my job is to mentor these people, train them and lead them. And you care, right?
Yep.
And that's what it's all about. And again, it's a different mindset for you. His mindset is to get out there and dominate. Your mindset is everything you have invested in him. I bet you go through the whole, did I not do something? The realization of it all.
The day
right?
that they all wake up, they're all like, oh shit. Yeah. Everyone's questioning everything.
Yeah.
But
once he gets out there.
But for me, ultimately, I
reel.
think that we all know that we did what we had to do.
Right.
So I've never put us in that position.
No. And that's why we haven't also, like, I will say that our team that we have for him is one unique team. And nobody's out trying to outdo somebody. Nobody's trying to get more of the limelight. We know what our role is with this guy.
Right.
Our goal is to make him win. Right. That's it.
And some of these
guys have coaches that they're just looking for the limelight and more fighters.
That's everything though, man.
It is.
There's a me and there's a we.
Yep.
Right. And you guys are we guys.
Yep.
I'm a we guy, and then there's the me guys,
Yep.
and they always show themselves eventually.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely.
Once you find out their why, then you know if it's a we or a me guy, like immediately.
Yeah.
Well, your why is everything. That's that's why I fight. For my family, like my parents have sacrificed everything to get me here. And so now I love paying them back. It feels so good.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah.
How old are you, Justin?
36.
36. So let me ask you, 36, we're going to get a little bit more in injuries and stuff like that. But
yeah.
How, in your mind, to keep the
at the level that you're at, which,
Yeah.
you know, this is the top of the level. How much longer can you go?
I mean, that's a question I don't think I can answer. I think the day I don't have the desire to work like I worked when I was wrestling in college to prepare for these competitions, then I will be done. But ultimately, you know, as the athlete, it's hard to ever go there. You always, and if you're going to compete, you have to think that you have the ability to compete with the best and be the best in the world. My plan of action has always been to surround myself with great people. He's known me for a long time. Ben's known me for a long time. My parents know me for a long time. My brother, my sister, their wives. If any of them ever had the desire to have a conversation with me about that, then I would entertain it. And because I think that, you know, again, you don't see yourself grow. You don't see yourself get stronger because it happens daily and you don't see you know, it's hard to know who you are because, you know, every day you feel something different. But ultimately, I have that team around me that I am willing and able to have a conversation with any day. But until that comes, I'm all in.
Love
And
it.
I know that they know that. I haven't ever verbalized it to them, but I know that I have people that love me that would never want me to risk something for glory. And so having that around me, I know that they'll have that conversation with me when I need to have that. Until then, I'm locked.
Yeah, and here's the parallel that when we talk about extremely elite athletes and elite operators, the one thing I find out is there's one of two things that causes them to have the change. It's either injuries or it's the mind. And the mind tells them enough's enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes they both hit at the same time, believe it or not. Like the
That's probably a
injuries help,
blessing.
you know.
That's probably a blessing because then you don't have to, because the mind is what got us
Yeah.
here.
Right.
And ultimately, you're going to have to be a coward in one sense of the way, you know, to yourself. And that's what we're all trying to avoid. So,
Well, the one pearl of wisdom I'll pass to you is as you're going through this journey, try and identify whether it's the golf thing or whatever, try and identify what you have a little passion for.
yeah.
And then when you make that transition, invest in that for the transition. That might not be the end state, but invest in that and get into it. And that will help you. Like I'll tell you, when I left active duty, I became a government civilian for the same unit I was at. I never left the boys. I wasn't going on combat operations, but I was with them, training them, and it was a detox period. And I did that for a decade before I did something like this. You got to find that transitional thing that doesn't make you lose you can't stop is my point.
Yeah. No, this is how, so what neither one of us were in the military. I do a lot of work with the military. I try to help as much as I can, but really it's just meeting the different people. And it is such a mindset thing, like coming from that. I don't know what you come from because I didn't experience it, but I can imagine it's something very intense. The camaraderie, the loyalty. And then you come back here, and I think it's hard. I think people have issues with having nothing. And so for me, I've had conversations like, obviously you're mission based. And so like if your family can be your mission, like I think it's something you have to trick your mind. I use a lot of tools to trick my mind, you know, a fake it till you make it kind of thing. But ultimately when you fake it till you make it, you're living it every day. And that's the philosophy that I live by. And so I think if you can make, I've always like, why can't your family be your mission? You know, like the mission, you are the leader of this mission and your family is that mission to make that. And I think that there's ways to get there.
It's tough. And I'll tell you,
but I don't come from experience. So I don't understand.
Yeah, you do. To believe it or not, what you've described here with your team, what you've described through that you go through in your 12-week train up to get in the ring is no different than what elite operators' mindset is to bond as a team in their train up before deployment and go out the door and do combat operations.
Yeah,
It is
trust the preparation.
You know, what you're doing in the ring versus on a military target are the two differences, but it's the same thing. And it's the biggest problem that we have is you come off that. It's you coming out of the ring, and now it's the simple life, the reintegration. And then the other piece of it is too, is most of us, you know, a lot of guys, you know, you have an alpha spouse or girlfriend or something like that, and now you're out of the net for 12 weeks. I'm out of the net for 4 months.
Well, now you're not. Now you're not getting treated with respect.
Well,
now you're not seeing loyalty, and now it's like, what the? Now you're in the mindset of, is this my enemy?
Yeah. And oh, by the way, I want to be the alpha.
Yep.
Like I'm not gonna be second.
Yep.
So it's the reintegration process. And oh, by the way, the normalcy of life. You go from, I'm getting ready to step into the national stage. I'm getting ready to do the national mission. And all of a sudden now your biggest thing is, I got to cut the fucking lawn.
I gotta get milk.
You know, and it's hard. I mean, it's a reset. And I'll tell you that every extremely high level athlete that I talk to, I don't care what the discipline is, there is a parallel between that and elite operators on, again, the mindset. And then the biggest problem people have, and that's why I'm kind of talking about your destination, is man, when guys step away, I don't care what it is, that is a really hard thing to do in life.
Well, there is no drug that can match that what your body does for you in those situations. Like,
right.
And it is addictive, very addictive, as a matter of fact, especially with mine comes with so much recognition. And so what I've done, my philosophy from day one is, so I got here by thinking everybody was special. I always looked up to anybody I've ever met, interacted with. I look up to them, think they're better than me, and not in a bad way, not in a put myself down. Like, I've just put a lot of hope into everything and everybody. And so I was like, I'm going to, every person I ever interact with, I'm going to let them know that I'm no better than them. And so like I get a lot of opportunity to do that. And so that's my favorite part of this, because that was a big lesson for me.
That's awesome. And a lot of us, me included, have a little hard time with being humble and humility sometimes. But when you meet the right people, you were like I'll tell you, the biggest thing I had to learn once leaving the community I was in and sitting around a conversation that absolutely means nothing to me, but actually trying to pay attention to the conversation. Because people look over at you and you're fucking out and daydreaming and it's very disrespectful.
Yep.
And they're like, where the fuck is this guy? You know, and then you realize, wow, I am absolutely an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, I am totally disrespecting this whole group. And you have to, like, okay, you're talking about something that means nothing to me, but I'm going to listen, pretend. And then over time you start to realize, hey, fuck, these are human beings. You know, this is important to them. But it's tough. It really is tough. And that is another thing that we, in our level, disengage because, wow, that's not important. Who cares? But it is to the other people.
Yeah, no, people come up and like, I can't get a picture and they're trying to take a picture and they're shaking. And so like, I go out of my way to never make them feel weird or awkward. Because ultimately, some would consider that strange. You know, so I wouldn't think that I would act like that. And I don't know how I make someone act like that. It doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not going to make them feel less than in that moment ever. And that's a big part. That's my favorite part about this whole thing.
Yeah, I love it.
Is being like, dude, I am so normal. You have no idea. I live alone. It's fucking lonely, boring. But for some reason, I'm here.
Well,
it's weird.
I think anybody that's been listening to this podcast knows why you're here.
Yeah.
I mean, so the difference between, again, champions and the guy that just gets in the ring is the mindset, and you're able to lock on, and that uber discipline.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. You can take an athlete that is the best physical athlete in the world, and you can take an athlete that is 3 steps below him. And if that athlete's 3 steps below him has a stronger mind and will, it will level out.
Yeah.
It will
There's
level out.
no doubt. Well, we've seen that countless times.
So,
yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, and I can only imagine, Luke, and you coaching, like how many, I'm sure you see it in these kids and guys you're working with. You see whether they're in or not, right? I mean, you can see in the eyes.
It's so crazy. This is such a tough game too, because I see so many kids. I'm like, dude, go get a fucking job. Just get a job. Start climbing the ladder. You know, stability. There's no stability here. My brother bought and sold 3 houses. I was living on the ground in a 1-bedroom apartment. So happy. You know, life has been so fucking awesome. I was as happy then as I am now. But there's no stability, and I'm luckily whatever lucky work. I'm here. I made it. But that's also everyone's like, as a child, I would always hear like, you know, do something else. You know, I wanted to be an NFL quarterback. It's like, well, your chances are 1 in 5 million. It's like, well, that means there's one.
That's
and
right.
that's the mindset I've always had is, okay, I could be, someone has to be that one. It could be me. You know, if I don't know how I get there, but I'll fucking figure it out.
It's funny because we get guys coming in, you know, and
You're like, go get a job.
we get guys coming in. You could pretty much weed them out, like who's gonna stick it out and who has the mindset of actually being a champion versus the guy that wants to get the likes and like, you know, people to get followers on Instagram.
No, and it's, man, I don't care where you go, but I'm trying to think of the brand Affliction, especially when Rampage and all those guys were fighting. I just remember all of a sudden everybody was a cage fighter.
Oh yeah,
and you're walking around and you're like,
everyone can be.
Yeah.
Anybody
that's true though.
Can be a professional fighter, and that's why you don't tell people I'm a pro MMA fighter. It's like, dude, everybody's a pro MMA fighter. But I do think it's going back to I think it's hard to distinguish sometimes on the athlete early, because there's a difference between practice and competition, and being under those lights in the fire, like. It doesn't matter how good you are in practice. You could be the best practice guy in the world, and you just can't. Something about that pressure, you know, doesn't allows you. It takes you to like a protect yourself. You're scared, and you just try to wrestle and hold, and you don't fight. And so those guys are sometimes hard to find out until they're 2-3 fights in. It's like, dude.
The same with
You're
guys.
so good in practice, but you can't. Like,
Yeah.
what
Dude,
the fuck is
it's
going
the same
on?
with guys that freeze in combat.
Yep,
It's the exact same thing. So,
vice versa though. You have guys that, you know, kind of don't want to kill their opponent in training, right? And then underneath the lights, they're like, "Whoa, who is this guy?
who is this guy?
You know what I mean? Like this guy, he doesn't try to kill anybody at the gym besides me. Like he doesn't try to hurt anybody. Like literally, he is truly a good training partner. And like
I've only knocked one person out ever,
and he felt horrible.
It was on purpose.
And there's times where like in camps,
and I feel terrible.
at the end of the day, I'm like, dude, you got to give it to him. You got to push yourself to that. You know, I want to see you get fucking tired.
Right.
You know, get that push, and I need you to fucking hurt this guy, and he won't do it. You know what I mean?
I get tired.
I
just put myself in positions, get tired. Whenever, I mean, my coach Trevor watches every single training session. If someone throws something they shouldn't throw, I hear green light out of the side of my in my peripherals, and then I fuck them up. But it doesn't happen often because people know not to throw spinning heel kicks and knees and elbows in practice. We've been doing this a long time. We know who to train
with and who not to.
But yeah, it's crazy. The mindset is obviously what separates the men from the boys.
That's funny you bring that up. We were having the conversation before the podcast about in our community about how many injuries there are on the mats. And it's because of the ego and the culture we have where, hey, we're just going to go light. And the next thing you know, it's all in and it's all on. And the thing with our culture, we even talked about, even on a run, let's go out and do to the back gate 6 mile run at 9-minute mile pace. The next thing you know, you're cruising at 7-minute miles and freaking, because his chest is in front of my chest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and like I said, when we were talking, like that's the good part of being competitive. But in practice, in training, like in the room, the ego has to stay outside, because or else it's just injuries. And now what are we doing here? No one's going anywhere. We're all, you can't compete now. You can't work.
So let's talk about injuries. Something you were telling me that I would have never thought about is you were talking about the shins calf area, about how bad they are. And
so you were asking like after fights, I think we kick each other like so right off the shin bone on the outside of the shin bone. There's a whatever muscle that's called. That's where we attack. And when that gets hit, like every step, it doesn't matter. 6 to 8 weeks after a fight, get out of bed, you feel it. You take a shit, you feel it. You walk anywhere, you feel it. Any step, every step, you feel it. That one hurts the most. Bone bruises hurt a long time. Stitches, 5, 6 days. Ultimately, TBIs are probably going to be the most detrimental, which we have no knowledge of. And so I'll worry about that.
How
later.
frequent on the bone bruises? What's like the most frequent? Is that,
on
just
the
from
shin bones?
Good kicks?
Shin bones, so you kick knees. Anytime your bones touch their bones, that's another variable that we don't talk about, genetics. Like genetics are a huge part of what I do. Like I have super dense bones, luckily, and that helps me because our bones are going to touch when we're fighting, and the less dense bone is going to give. Whether it's fracture, hair fractures. I've got hair fractures on my feet every fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like before any competition, we have fight. We're pretty much injured, bruised up before we even enter that.
Just from camp, right?
Yeah,
To get ready for what we're about to do.
You know what I mean?
And then you take 4 or 5 days and just cut weight before and try to rest your body. But
so
you're
being healthy going into a fight is very slim. You're
So how do you manage that as a coach? If you just keep the practice within constraints.
Yep.
Okay.
it depends on the injury.
Yeah.
Like if you're training 6 weeks before a fight and you accidentally get like a big cut on your eye, you obviously can't spar. You have to let it heal. So you're gonna have to pivot and go into a whole different workouts than sparring and grappling. So it's gonna be a lot of bag work, a lot of running. It's all cardio. It's all fucking cardio. 25-minute sprint.
25-minute sprint.
They're 5-minute rounds. So if you can sprint for 5-minute rounds with your adrenaline pumping, then that's where you need to be.
Hey, this is Bruno, and you've been watching the Hot Wash by Born Primitive Tactical. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our podcast, and thanks for watching. Now back to the podcast.
Describe like a middle of camp training day. What's it like? Just walk me through one.
Every day different.
I'll show up on a Wednesday, and I'll jump rope for 10 minutes, and then I'll shadow box with 3-pound weights for 5 minutes, and then I'll do like line drills where I'm staying in a stance and doing, footwork drills,
ladder drills
for 5 minutes, and then I'll do 2 rounds of hitting pads with my coach, 5-minute rounds, and then I'll do a round on a heavy bag
kick
where I'll do I'll do 30-second sprints. So I'll throw hard, heavy, or fast. It's either heavy, fast, power, light. We're always trying to you're just trying to get your heart rate above 160 to 170. I'm trying to have my heart rate above 160, 170, like 30 to 40 minutes a day through these workouts. And so then I'll go on a bag, and then I'll end with like 10 minutes jump rope. So it's like 12 rounds, 12 5-minute rounds. And that'll be a Wednesday, and then I'll go home, have a smoothie, and then I'll go to my strength conditioning place, and they'll put me through a circuit workout where I'll do cardio, battle ropes, sled push, box step ups, TRX sprints. Bullshit. And then I go home. My chef shows up 5:30, serves dinner 6:30. That's Wednesday. Thursday, I wrestle at 10 a.m., and that's my only workout that day. And then at night, I'll try to run 20 minutes on the treadmill, sit in the sauna, sit in the hot tub, sit in the cold tub. Friday, sparring. So I do five or depending on the fight. Corey Sandhagen has a 5-round fight coming up. He just did 7 rounds straight. And then you'll do 10 minutes of grappling after that, and that'll be your only workout that day. Then you go home, try to get a lot of rest and recovery, have the needle girl come over and put needles in your whole body, try to get any knots you got out of your body out, massage maybe. Saturday, run the hills, like 2 miles up the mountain, and then we go to the gym and do a footwork drill. It's an open workout where we invite anybody in who wants to come in, and Trevor puts us through footwork drills. It's a lot of staying in a low position, just firing your legs for another 40 minutes. Sunday, rest and golf. And then Monday, similar to Wednesday, but I have a lift at 10 a.m. Or no, I work out with Trevor. He puts me through 12 rounds, and then I'll go lift. So that's my easiest workout of the week. Tuesday's similar to Thursday or Friday. I spar, and then we go to the mountain and do sprints.
It's funny because like when he signs a fight, you know, we get into camp, I see him more than I see my wife. And it's crazy. But then after the fight, I'm like, you know, because everybody's buddies like on Justin's coat wagon, like, I want to be with Justin,
Coat wagon
or a coattail. That's a Lukeism. And I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with him. I'm done. You know what I mean?
So again, and just my world to your world, you come home from a deployment, and I don't want to see anybody.
Yeah. And
you get that call, hey, we're all going to go grab a beer. And I'm like, I fucking don't want to see you guys.
Yeah. My family likes to stay an extra day. And I'm like, dude, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And kind of get a reset in.
Yeah.
Usually, so the night before the fight, I usually take these guys out to dinner and we'll have a team dinner. We get them all drunk. And one night we were drunk. He was drunk. I wasn't drinking. And I'm passing a picture of me around. And I'm about to fight for the Tony Ferguson for the belt. And Luke's like, if you fucking win this belt, I'll fucking get that tattooed on me. And I literally won the fight. I looked at him, I was like, you're getting a tattoo. And look at it, he got this big ass tattoo.
Let's see
tattoo of me.
Look at it.
It's me as a baby crushing a baby bottle.
Yeah.
I used to wear glasses, so I have glasses on.
Wow, thing. Yeah,
at least you ate.
Hey, I'm a man of my word.
Those are probably pretty similar to the camaraderie that you're familiar with.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I love hearing it.
The night before.
Yeah, man. It's and this is what makes it special is when you know, what people say, when you peel the onion back, I don't care what the discipline is. If it's a very elite discipline that requires, you know, physicality, mindset, and there's something major league on the table.
Yep.
It's not bullshit, you know. Him fighting under the lights in front of millions of people, us going out the door, whatever. You get that camaraderie. It just doesn't exist anywhere else.
No.
You know, and then for our guys, I think once they're, you know, the biggest downside of us is the worst thing that could happen is he loses or gets hurt. On our side of the house is we lose guys.
Yeah.
And that's
way more detrimental.
And that's the real bond right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. I'll say this, in our community, and the military is different across where your experience was, but in the special operations community, there's no question there's a large amount of PTSD. And let me tell you what it's from. There's not a single guy out there, and I'm generally speaking for everybody, but there's not a single guy out there that has PTSD from what he did to the enemy, from the environmentals, from seeing bombs, and it's from seeing you lose a buddy. It's that fucking simple. It comes down to that bond you have and you lose a buddy, and that's what wrecks guys. If it wasn't for that, I honestly don't think guys would have any trauma in our community because of the mindset at all of war. I really don't. I think that's what the fuck we're there for. It's the losing of a brother. You know? So
I had no idea what really it was like to lose somebody until my dad passed away, you know, and I had no idea. Like, you know, you tell people like, hey, I'm sorry for your loss. And, you know, we work with a lot of veterans and like, we always try to, you know, help them out, but you don't
until
really know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You know, there's nothing that will ever fill that void. Right. And all you can do is just, you know, talk to them. And now, so I get it. Like, dude, now I get it. I understand like really what death is. And now I'm just like, man, I'm trying to live the best life my dad would want me to live and be there for my kids. I mean,
that's the answer, right?
That's all I can do.
I think the ones that are starting to hurt the most, though, losing guys on the battlefield. Ultimately, we all signed up for it.
Yeah,
ultimately, we all know that. Ultimately, it's a way for an operator, a soldier, sailor, Marine, whatever to go. It's the suicides.
Yeah.
Though, especially the guys you never see it coming. Those are the ones that are wrecking people. Me personally,
I think
when it happens,
a lot of it could be the grief of it. Should have been me. That's probably
well, especially if you don't.
A big part of it.
There's so many of these guys that it's happening to, and you're like, this is absolutely the guy that will never do it.
Yeah.
Like you saw this person as that strong family person that had no issues, and that's the guy doing it.
What is he?
He had it so internalized.
Holding it in.
Yeah.
Huh?
And it's not, where it's also very prevalent is in the law enforcement community.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of law enforcement officers that are in the same boat. And first responders, if you think about what a police officer or a firefighter paramedic sees every time they show up at a site, I mean, some horrific shit.
Yeah.
And what's there for their mind and all that, they live with that, and they live with that for life. So it's something that we've had a lot of guests on this podcast that are focused on the mental health aspect of all that. And, the one thing I wonder with, like you, Justin, I mean, so you're getting hit in the head.
Yeah.
You're getting hit in the head a lot. Well, not a lot. You actually do pretty fucking good at not getting hit in the head a lot. But
I trained 12 weeks for these fights. So
but my point being is you mentioned the TBIs and all that stuff. Our community gets a lot of it from blast injury and stuff like that. But when you're my age, when you're 60, we don't know how you're going to be.
Mm-mm.
You know, your mental, where are you? So
no, I think again, what can I control? I've done impact tests through my career to try to have baselines, to try to keep baselines, to try to understand if and when I would need to use that information to make decisions on my future. That step I've taken, again, I explained how I, put everyone around me that I trust to have those conversations. But it's something that, again, the older you get, the wiser you get. You want to think about it, but you don't want to think about it because it can't help you. It can only hurt you. And ultimately, I think the body is resilient. I think, I think our sport is the most violent.
Absolutely.
But I think boxing is more dangerous. I think football is more dangerous. And I think it's the time in between that makes it more dangerous. Football players, whether it's 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, another TBI is still that your first one has not healed. And so I've really, I've known that since I was young, that TBIs are bad, but repetitive TBIs and, stack them on top of each other, that's when you don't heal. And that's when everything's exasperated. I've gone and got testing after every fight. And even when I did get TKO'd, the people that did the test were like, if I didn't do it myself, I wouldn't believe it, but you don't have any symptoms. And so I think for me, I have to stay, naive in a sense, even though I know that. And so that makes it more difficult. But, ultimately, I think there's a lot of ways to get TBIs. I think people get them, we used to watch people skating. I used to watch those skating and BMX things, and they just smoke themselves and they'd fucking get right back up and they'd be on it. Car crashes are serious TBIs. There's a lot of ways in life to the human body is so fragile, it's so resilient, such a weird little spectrum that it is. I just think that I'm gonna pay attention to what I can pay attention to, control what I can control, rely on the people that I can't rely on, take the tests and use the science, microdose mushrooms and use anything that they say can, rewire or do something to my brain, help my brain. There's a lot of things. I think my diet, I've done a really good job at switching my diet into more of a real, what we should be eating, natural food. I think that's going to help me, in that process. I think our food that we eat also makes us, the dementia. I don't know. I'm not no doctor, but I think the way that we live also is a huge factor on how fast our brain goes. And so I'm just going to try to put the things in my body I can't control. But when it comes to TBIs and stuff like that, then I'm going to tell myself that there's millions of ways I can get one. And this way I have control of this a little bit. But ultimately it's something I accept.
Yeah. And you said something that I can tell you that the taking control of your nutrition / diet, supplementation, augmenting with mushrooms, and all that's the right answer. I don't care how hard you work in the gym. If you're not fueling properly and you're not resting properly, it doesn't work. And that's in our community, the biggest issue we have is typically the resting.
That's where I cannot relate because I sleep I was sleeping 9 to 10 hours every night. And then I found out it was too much. So now I sleep 8 hours every night. Same schedule, but there's not one night I don't sleep.
I'm so fucking jealous.
8 hours. I know, and it does.
Can't do that.
I can't either.
And nobody can, but I got it for genetics. I got to sneak out of my house because my parents were the deepest sleepers. And I got that from them. I lock my door at night because I live alone and someone will kill me in my sleep because I will not wake up. And so, I sleep deep. And that's one part that has, been part of my success is my ability to rest.
100%. I mean, if you have the whole pyramid, the rest is so, if you overtrain, if you undereat and all that, but the rest is the one that keeps you.
It's the only way to get back.
That's right.
It's the only way to correct the mistake that you made in your nutrition or your rest.
I've been trying to figure the resting out for a couple decades.
Yeah, I don't know how again, I just never, I can't even try because I just sleep.
My mind just won't stop.
That's me too. My biggest thing is I stay hydrated. If I wake up to take a piss, the mind turns on, it starts processing, and I'm fucked.
Yep.
And it's almost the go to work mentality.
Yep.
Which is who made you, but ultimately you have control of that.
Yeah.
Like you can recognize it that it does happen. And that's the tools going through college for human services I got to learn a lot of ways that you can, find peace. And ultimately it is to control, identify these irrational or, maybe the wrong time, and then once you can recognize it, then you can control it.
The one thing, and I obviously can't do this on a work day, but the one thing I do find on weekends that's crazy, and it's not an age thing. I read about some athletes doing it, and I've got a very close friend down in Florida that does it before training, but I take a nap. And I'll tell you right now, man, I come off that nap and then go hit a workout, and it's nice. On.
I nap between my workouts.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Not on purpose, but if I sit down and I fall asleep, I fall asleep.
Oh, yeah. So Luke,
but I do try to not let my mind keep me from rest. Like, because ultimately I can't control more than 5 things any day. Not tomorrow, not today, definitely not yesterday. And so why would I waste?
To just stay on point, right?
Stay on point.
Got it.
Control my environment, handle my shit and work as hard as I can when I have to.
So let me ask you guys. We get a couple years from now and he decides I'm not going to do this anymore. You got the real ethos of everybody coming in at the gym. The podcast is up and rolling. Is that the future for you guys? I mean, is that where you're going to go? Are you going to start training the next generation of athletes and working in that direction? Or what's the vision when you start getting down the road where maybe you don't get in the big light anymore?
Yeah,
I could ask him what he's going to do. He's going to go golf.
No.
He's going to go golf?
For me personally, what I'm going to do and what I have been doing, I'm trying to create different ways of passive income. I own 3 ski and snowboard shops. I have the equipment company. I have, investments in different ways. I have a house in Arizona next to my parents' house. So I'm just trying to create passive income. And then with the platform that, I have got for myself, the UFC has allowed, brought into my life, I can do, I get paid to do appearances. I can do that for the rest of my life. I really would like to move into, I got a human services degree. So I want to, start like a nonprofit. I don't want to commit all my time to that because it's really, I'm in a pickle. Do I want to have a wife, have kids, or do I want to try to create generational wealth and commit time to that, which I think is shallower in a way, but I think that could be good for my future family. Whether it's my brother, sister, their kids. Right now if I died, my parents would get everything, and I love that.
Right.
Because they deserve all of it. So yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to not be a bum. I never want to be broke again because I was, we came from nothing. You don't do what I do if you came from opportunity or wealth. We come from nothing. And from the poorest part, that's why I tell all these kids that I train with, I'm like, the poorest parts of every part of the world, these kids are fucking hungry and they're coming. And now they have a chance to be here and they're coming for you. And so if you're not fucking working, somebody's
working harder.
They are working. There's no doubt about it. They're not just working harder. Their mindset is hungrier because you're sleeping in a bed, and you have daily meals. And so like, if you aren't making yourself go there, then you're going to get outworked.
So Luke, is he any good at golf?
He's good. I'll say I even think he'd be better as much as he plays. But as saying all this of what's going to happen when he retires, I always said when Justin hangs it up, I'm going to hang it up. Now that we're doing this gym thing, and that's something that we're
to be a big part of what I do.
Big part of he's part of it. But when I retired, Coach T was my coach, Coach Trevor. After one of my fights in Canada, he goes, "Man, why do you still do this?" And I was like, "Oh, I need the money." I was doing it just for the paycheck. It wasn't just because I loved the fight I did, and I didn't like working an 8-5 or 9-to-5 job. I like to fight. But he was like, "Why don't you work with me at the gym?" From that day on, I've always been a part of the gym. So everybody asked me, like, from retirement, don't you miss it? I'm around it every day.
Right. You're still connected.
Yeah. So like when people ask me, like, what are you going to do after he's done? I'm going to be at the gym still.
Yeah, we'll be connected.
I'll still be at the gym.
I don't want to coach. I've never been good at teaching. I'm a really good learner. My coach Trevor, his ability to teach, I can never match. And so I don't think I would be as beneficial to anybody as he was to me. So I don't think I would spend my time or energy doing that. 2 people.
Yeah.
You have a passion for coaching.
Yeah, I love coaching. I do. I mean, it's, I remember when he first came in the gym, like I always talk shit because I always say, yeah, he was the easy guy to work with, in our group when he first came in.
Tell the truth.
He was tough. He was tough already. And that's when I
was
knew,
a wrestler. I would just wrestle.
But it was so funny seeing him,
progress.
What he's became, you know what I mean? And like, did I hit the lottery with him? Hell yeah, I did. Because he's been a good friend. He literally just been like a brother to me. All my brothers are back home in Nebraska. So it's kind of like we've had each other since, because he has no family out here, you know? So it's just kind of, we've grown up together, and that's the part that's going to suck.
Do you take him hunting ever?
Oh yeah.
Can he shoot a bow?
He can shoot a bow. He shot it out.
I'm more of a gun guy.
Okay. He likes guns, but yeah, I took him out. He shot his first elk with me.
Nice. I didn't recover. We didn't recover it, and so that kind of broke me.
Yeah,
like I'm never gonna put an animal in that position again.
Yeah,
so I'm either going to commit to a rifle, which I have, or I'm going to really commit to practicing, getting ready. I made a good shot. It was fucking tough. It's insane.
We rushed the elk. We bumped it too early.
We had it on video. It was wasn't a bad shot.
Yeah,
it was probably great. A little bit back now in hindsight, obviously. A couple inches
we
back.
Just bumped it. It was
bumped in that gridded amount for 3 days, and I was like, I'm fucking done. I'm not doing it again. I'm fucking done, bro. Give me a rifle.
I love it.
But it's just been fun with him, honestly. Like, man, the lows, the highs, obviously we have way more highs than the lows, but the lows is what actually makes it better when we have those big highs,
Right.
Like that Max fight, it was such a high fight, and then that happens. And you never really know.
They were all scared last fight.
Because you never really...
They were all worried that I wasn't going to... I couldn't believe that. We didn't know you were going to fight the same.
Because here's the thing. When you've been knocked out...
What am I going to do?
You've been around the sport for so long. When somebody gets knocked out, they're usually not the same.
Okay.
Right? They're never the same.
Right.
But
it's not their physical attributes that aren't the same.
It's mental too,
It's their
because they were knocked out.
Yeah.
Now it's sitting there.
Because most people build themselves up as unbeatable in their head, and I've never done that. I think that's detrimental. Like Conor McGregor, like when he lost, where the fuck do you go from here? What do you say? Other than if you're lying, and then he just kept lying, and it's like, well, everyone knows you're lying now,
right?
So I think to convince yourself that you are unbeatable is detrimental, because we are human and you are beatable. Like, there's no doubt about it. These fights are so fucking crazy. Anything can happen. That's why we are such big fans. That's why I am. That's why we're on the edge of our seats. That's why it's the most best live show on earth.
There's no question in my mind. There's 2 things worth watching on TV. I'm not a TV guy. I do not watch TV, but there's 2 things: MMA fighting, and playoff hockey.
Yeah.
Now I love football, but I'll tell you, football is a live sport.
Yeah. I watch any college playoffs because, again, passion. humans recognize effort. That's been my also motto. Humans recognize effort. I give max effort. What else do you fucking want from me? If you want something more, I can't give it to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. It's definitely, going back to like, the injuries and stuff. And I was just thinking, we sign up for this just like you guys did. When you talk up, we sign up for this. And there's no better way.
Yeah, but you guys are better than us
because
because ours comes with glory and recognition, and yours comes with not that.
So
almost the opposite. So I mean, that's also like
you have to know something. This is me, and hopefully the guys that are listening from our community will side with me on this. The guys that are truly drawn to what I did for my whole career are drawn for the mission, not the recognition and the glory. They're drawn for the mission. Okay, so so the ones that you see out now that are in it for the recognition, the glory, are individuals. They are the me, not we guys.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, there's one of the units that I work with very closely for decades. They have a text string going around right now about podcasts, books, and TV appearances, and it's the do's and don'ts. And I'll be honest with you, I was adamant that I would not do a podcast.
Yeah,
I was not going to do this. And Bear asked me, and I said, okay, under these rules.
Yeah.
Number one, every guest will be in person. I'm not doing remote. I want to hang out with the fellas and have this kind of talk. Number two, I want a studio like Sean Ryan, and I designed this studio. I want you to come in and feel comfortable at home.
Yep.
And if somebody wants to see what we look like, it's appealing.
Yep.
And then I am not going to violate anything that's going to put me persona non grata in the community. I am not going to be talking about war porn, about shit we did overseas. Now, if we do, it's probably funny shit.
Yeah.
But the classified units, the names of units, I won't do it.
Yeah.
And it's kept me in good graces, and I'm going to continue to be that way. And what that's allowed me to do, I had General Scott Miller on here, 4-star, doesn't do podcasts. He's getting ready to come back on. It is the most watched podcast I've ever had.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely a forum on leadership. They played his podcast at West Point.
yeah,
That's
awesome.
crazy.
My point being is that the me we thing, you can do a me thing if it's for we. And what I think we're doing right here, this forum, you know how much you just taught some young guy that's thinking about going into the MMA and cage fighting in this hour and 10-minute long discussion. You let him peek behind the curtain. You've talked about your entire career, what it takes, the training, the devotion, what makes you a champion.
Yeah.
You're not fucking getting that watching a fight on pay-per-view.
No.
You're seeing the fight.
No,
So
I do a good job. I have my coach's son. He documents all of my training, and we put it on YouTube.
love it.
And so you can follow me my whole camp, every training set, well, every week of training leading up to the fights, and then week of the fight, he puts one out every day of what I'm doing daily of fight week. So that's a good insight into what we're doing.
So if you guys would share with our listeners, Luke, your Instagram is Gladiators Unleashed.
Yep.
And so is your podcast.
Yep.
And Justin, yours is your name on Instagram.
Good
and
luck
then
spelling it.
YouTube channels.
Gladiators
YouTube, same
Unleashed.
thing. Mine's my name, and his is Gladiators Unleashed.
Yep.
Okay.
Onyx Sports will be starting one soon. That's where we're gonna have our podcast.
Yep.
Yeah. Make sure you guys let me know.
Onyx Sports has an Instagram right now. Go
Yeah.
follow them.
Yeah.
If you are looking for the best equipment, we're actually so our gear is premium and it's expensive, and it's for beginners. I would not. I would recommend using them all the time.
We do have another.
I mean, I would see how there would be no way that me as a 22, 23, 24-year-old would be able to buy $309 pair of gloves. But we're doing different tiers of equipment now. And so we're going to have everything. And even the entry level gloves are going to be the technology that my coach, his mind works crazy. So these gloves are going to be high level gloves, but they're going to be for.
So there you guys go.
price, so.
Onyx Sports.
Mm-hmm.
You can track them. You can get the gear, and then eventually pick up the podcast there as well too.
Yep.
Right?
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
That'll be awesome. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna follow it as soon as I get off here. Just make sure, because I got to keep an eye on YouTube. But so let me ask you this to close it out, because I know you guys got to catch a flight because you two never stop.
I know.
So this is what sucks is
The plan was to shoot this morning and have
Yeah.
a steak tonight, but I appreciate you guys coming here. But is there anything else you guys want to tell our audience about and just, talk about anything you guys got coming up in the future? And I do have one closing question for you to think about.
Yeah.
I want you to give me a short story on your favorite fight of your career. Your favorite. Maybe
Right.
I want to hear the one that when you're sitting there and telling around the campfire, it's your best story.
Cool.
So, but what do you got, Luke? Anything you?
Well, there's a couple things I want to say for the MMA part. The listeners that are coming out, trust the process. If you want to come and be an MMA fighter, trust the process. Whether
No rushing it.
rushing it. Don't worry about sponsorships. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about who you're fighting. Let's do your time, right? That part and everything else will fall in place, right? Trust your coaches. Don't keep your circle small, and then good things happen, right? Trust the process. But as far as, what I wanted to say, what Born Primitive has done for me and my platform and the guys at the gym, man, you guys have been a solid company. Bruno, ever since day one I met you from Snyder, and I can't thank you guys enough. And then we got to come on this podcast and hit a different audience. Dude, you guys are the real highlight reel, the real heroes. So I just wanted to say thank you for everything you guys do for us.
It's been, and I remember the first conversation. It's been a great friendship.
Yeah.
I didn't know you, and Aaron Snyder's like, you got to meet this guy, you got to talk to him. And then you and I
He's
had
a goofball.
Oh my God. Our first phone call, I was rolling. We had a real long phone call. And then I finally get to meet him at Western Hunt, and we're freaking horse playing around and all that. We had a bunch of farm. We had me, him, Bear, Aaron, Derek Wolf.
Yeah.
So our booth for Born Primitive Outdoor looked like the farm animal booth out there. People are like, what are these guys on? But you're a perfect fit for us. So I am an uber asshole on selecting ambassadors.
Yep.
Every day people are like,
oh, I bet.
And I'm like, no, this is a very small niche crowd, and you got to be the right ethos for me. Obviously Aaron is the one that brings the outdoor guys in because Snyder's the man. And, but I do get final approval. I'm like, no, I need to look at this guy because it's our brand. And then I do it exclusively on the tactical side. And, man, you're a great fit for us.
Well, like I said, I just wanted to give credit where credit's due, because honestly, man, I get to work with some awesome companies, right? I do. We get to hang out with some awesome people all the time. And I just got to say, it doesn't come unrecognized what you guys do. And that's my time is I always try to give where credit's due, because if it wasn't for you guys like you guys, I wouldn't have the limelight all the time either.
No, and we appreciate you, and know this, that I have been brought up my entire life from football at a very high level in high school through 17-year-old military, 40 years of service, team.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in team, and that's what I'm building here as a team, and you fit, and I love it. And, the one thing I'll tell you, and I'll tell Justin this as well, anything we can do for you as a business.
Yeah.
This is what this business is built on. It is built on supporting veterans, law enforcement, first responders, and our team.
Yep.
Everybody after that, we appreciate your business. We're here for you. We make a good product, but our ethos is America, the flag, and all that stuff. And to be honest with you, if you take anything away from what I'm always talking about, is just be true to your team. Take care of your people. Be
a good person, man.
Hell yeah.
Don't fake it.
And oh, by the way, fucking tell people to their face what's wrong.
Yeah.
Coach and mentor. Don't talk behind their face. Fucking straighten them out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you may be that dude, but you're the dude that everybody knows where you stand.
Yep.
So, all right, brother, over to you. I want to hear about this fight. Just in a cat. I just want the one that, so let me give you what I'm looking for. When I'm sitting around a fire with some of my best war buddies,
All right.
and we're freaking having
He tells my stories the best.
we're having a glass of whiskey and a cigar for my buddy Norm Hooten, and somebody brings up an op overseas, and it's kept in that circle. What's the one that what's the fight that,
I think COVID was a weird time. I think I remember they shut down the NBA. They shut down all, live events. And the UFC was like, fuck that. We're going to have a live fight. and Khabib was supposed to fight Tony Ferguson. Khabib went to Russia and then he couldn't get back because they wouldn't allow anybody into the country. And so they called me 13 days before the fight and were like, "You gonna fight? Do you want to fight Tony Ferguson for an interim championship fight?" And I weighed probably like 182. And I was training like I was in shape like I am now. I weigh 182 right now, but I wasn't like ready to fight 5 rounds. And I was like, and I promised myself early in my career I would never take a late replacement fight because I didn't want to put myself in a position where I would get tired and not be able to perform. And so they called me, and I was like, called them. They called me, and we're like, "Just COVID, the world shut down. We have a chance to get a live event going, and I get to win a championship possibly." So I was like, "Let's do it." And so I, start working out. Call them. We go down to the gym. We start working out. 2 days later, they call me like it's off, and I got down to like 176, 170, 175, and my cousin was hanging out with me there from California at the time. And they called me like fights off. So I was like, fuck. So we ordered Pizza Hut and I ate a shit ton of pizza and I got up to like 184 pounds. And then the next morning they called me like the fight's back on.
Oh my God.
I was like, what the fuck? So I call them and we go and I said I worked out so hard and they actually moved it to 6 or 7 days later. So it's going to be 18 days away. So I was like, all right, I got more time. So I worked my ass off and that fight was fucking crazy because I didn't think I was ready. And I performed so well. And then in the 4th round, they after the 4th round, they were like, I was like, what round is this? Was that round 1 or 2? They're like, that was round 4. And I was like, no fucking way. I was like, I'm not even tired. There's no way I'm in that good of shape.
Awesome.
And so that was the thought I had. I was like, I cannot believe I'm not tired. And I fought for this long. Because there's no recognition of time. You have no idea how long you're fighting for. You don't remember, necessarily. You can't, there's no retention of information. And so it's hard for me to recall anything specific from any fight ever because I'm just completely intuitive and instinctual. But yeah, I went in there and got there. So there was everybody's closed. Nobody can go to restaurants. Got to have a COVID card to go everywhere. But Florida, was normal. And so we went out to eat, got him drunk. He said he's going to get a tattoo if I win. And I performed great and won that fight. And he got a tattoo.
He gets a tattoo.
My face on his shin.
Yeah.
Another funny story with this guy. Another one.
Oh shit.
COVID. We're in New York City. We can't go anywhere because you have to have a COVID.
That was
card
the Michael Chandler fight.
Michael Chandler.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is just a funny story. This is what we deal with this guy. So I think it was the night before the fight.
Yeah.
Wait, was there whiskey involved?
They were drinking again.
Because that was one thing Snyder warned me before I met you. He goes,
Yeah, give this
careful
guy some
how much whiskey you give this guy.
He'll drink a whole bottle. Anyways,
Look it down.
so I literally we had we ordered sushi to the room, and I was like, this could be an embarrassing story for the internet.
Well, we didn't have our vax cards. You can't go anywhere.
Can't go anywhere. So we ordered sushi to the room. I got a tub of wasabi. I was like, Luke, I'll give you $500 if you eat this whole tub of wasabi. He's like, fuck no. He's like, give me $1,000. I'll put it on my asshole. And I was like, bet. And so we got all the coaches in the room. He gets his finger and freaking rub. Coaches has the camera up there to make sure he gets it. Puts it on his asshole and he's hanging over the bathtub. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't recommend that.
Splash of water on his butthole.
Did you get your $1,000?
Hell yeah.
I'll hand it to him right away as he's screaming. I was like, boom.
Times are rough,
That's got to be a short clip for IG.
Oh man,
We have such good times.
we have plenty of stories.
I take them for 10 days before a fight. We leave and we go stay in a house, and that's a cool week. We do a lot of cool stuff. I'm not doing cool stuff. I can't eat.
Yeah,
but have a good time.
I will say this: the progression of Justin Gaethje has only gotten better for us coaches. Like, we from hotels, which the UFC puts us in nice hotels, but as he starts making it more money and everything, we got to get into
nicer rooms,
nicer houses.
Yeah, houses.
We got mansions now, luxury cars. And like it's like shit. I come from Nebraska.
The more I can afford it, the more free shit we get.
You know what I mean?
Free.
And it's just like I would never guess.
Hey, Justin,
I'm doing this stuff.
Let me tell you something. It's earned, brother, because they're getting theirs. Okay, so it's earned.
Yeah,
you're the one out there getting banged
exactly.
up. Okay,
No, it's been such a fun ride.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell them too, though. I fought back in 2007 in the UFC. I paved the way for this guy to make I got a bonus check from the UFC for $2,500 fight of the night, and now he's making $50,000, dude.
Right.
But that's all right.
The crazy thing is I don't have any crazy stories because I
Just lock in. You don't know.
well because I don't care about so much things that people think.
So do you guys, after the fight, one of the big things in football is they watch all the game day footage, and do you go back and look at all your fight footage?
When I win, I watch it a lot, and when I lose, I don't really watch it.
I understand that.
So we watched a shitload after.
Obviously, my coaches, I don't like to watch my opponent. I like to train to be my best self. And if they can beat me at my best, then kudos to them. I rely on my coaches to watch. They all watch film. They don't talk to me about them watching film, but they
Take it to the training.
they put it in training without verbalizing it.
That's one good
That's
thing
how I
about
work.
Coach does really well. Trevor does very well.
Yeah, Trevor, I have no idea how much film he watches, or if I don't even know if he watches film.
He does.
I guarantee he
I'm
does.
sure he
but
does.
I'm saying
We do.
I'm sure you do.
We've never had a conversation about a specific fight or something specific because the more plans you have in there, the more fucked up it's going to be when that shit is not going to go how you think it's going to go.
Right. You're in it now. Just
Yeah,
fucking, now it's instinctive and get after it.
We
Right?
work on his tools, you know. We work on his tools.
Intuitive, and then just accepting the environment, just being present.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh yeah. Love it, man. You guys got any final comments?
Nah, man, that's been a great time.
We should shoot some guns, play some golf. You golf?
I fucking golf. Let me tell you how I
You,
golf.
you sound like me. You sound like me.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you a fun golf story, and I'm going to end it on this. As I don't golf.
Yep.
But every year I used to play in a unit tournament, and this one year, and I'm not a good golfer. I have to go to the driving range to get a bucket of balls because that's how many I lose. But
Nice.
so they have this long drive hole, and at the time I'm like 265. I'm a big man, and I literally run
Smoked
up
it.
and Happy Gilmore this thing.
Yeah.
And I win. And they give me like this $900 ping driver.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not a golfer. So every one of my buddies is like, give me the driver, give me the driver.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, motherfuckers.
earned
That's
it.
my
No.
trophy.
Earned
I
it.
took that driver home to my grinder and I made it a weed whacker.
Oh, shit.
I was like, you motherfuckers aren't getting it. I won it.
It was already a weed whacker.
Yeah.
It's fucking practice to swing out there.
But that's my golfing.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
This guy, we have a golf tournament every year. I do a golf tournament every year. It's my 4th year this year. St. Jude this year. I did it for military first 2 years.
Nice.
And St. Jude, this will be our 2nd year.
Yeah.
But this guy gets so fucked up out there. He last
I don't
time, I don't know
golf.
how
I
it
do have fun.
happened,
Yeah.
but his shorts were ripped from his knee all the way up to his ass. No, I don't know how that happens on a golf course.
I got a concussion on the golf course.
I gave him, that was my fault. So we were driving by, he's walking away and I just stiff arm him, boom, and he eats the side of the cart.
Oh, Jesus.
Broke my
Broke his
glasses.
glasses.
I'm bleeding everywhere.
No, it wasn't.
No, I was true.
That sounds like combat golf to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was.
Exactly.
All right, fellas, we're going to wrap this up so you guys can get on a plane. I can't thank you enough for both coming here to Virginia Beach and joining us. I think next time we'll do it on Gladiators Unleashed.
Yeah, you have to come on down.
Come on out
Yeah.
there, and we definitely got to get you on some guns, have some fun.
He loves
I
guns.
can shoot.
That's all I want to hear, man.
He can shoot.
Yeah. Pistol rifle or
Pistol.
Okay.
Well, I would give him, I'm not tooting his own horn, but this guy can shoot a pistol. I kid you not. I'm like, what? He's
I can shoot
good.
pistol,
Good.
and a rifle,
Hell yeah. I love hearing that.
shotgun, all of them.
So 3 gun man. Sounds like we got something going here.
Yeah.
Just heard.
I think we're going to have a part 2 to this one day.
Yeah, let's
No,
do it.
here, you've never seen his backyard.
No.
So off of his backyard, the mountain, and it's a very pretty steep hill in the back of his house. Comes out the deck, and he's got 50
40
targets.
some.
40
So you have
something
your range
targets
right out back.
Yeah.
just off his deck, just up his hill right
Yeah.
here.
Hell yeah.
That's why I live up there.
Yeah, man.
Got
Wow.
zombies and bear, and he's all
Yeah.
kinds of shit.
It's a good time.
Fuck yeah. All right, fellas. Thanks for coming. Everybody, thank you for tuning in to the Hot Wash. Don't forget to like or subscribe to the podcast. And don't forget to tune in to both of their Instagrams, Onyx Sports. Take a look at the gear there. And we will see you next time on the Hot Wash. Thank you. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Hot Wash by Born Primitive Tactical. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow us at Born Primitive Tactical. I'll see you next time.